Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we're going to uncover a $2.5 million Shopify store that does something totally different than I've ever seen any store do. And some of the lessons that we're going to learn in here, from marketing to branding to community building, are going to be invaluable to you if you're trying to build your own Shopify business or your own e-commerce business. So without further ado, let's get right into it. If you enjoyed this video, just make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, like it. It always helps the videos do just a little bit better, which helps more people and it helps me as well. So I really appreciate it. Now, the store is called Crown and Caliber. And if you're a watch fiend like myself, just kidding, I'm not a watch fiend, but I do like watches. I got this gold AP right here. I'm very proud of it. You've probably heard of this store before. What they do is that they sell watches. They sell used watches, and it's not just any watches. It's actually really high-end watches. So as you see, they have a bunch of featured brands from some of the biggest brands. They don't have, oh yeah, they do have Audemars Piguet here. And, they sell all these great brands, and you can sell them your watch as well. And again, this is a Shopify store, so you can create a marketplace through Shopify. That's basically what this is. It's a marketplace. Somebody decided to create a marketplace of watches. So let's say you did this with vintage clothes or anything else, right? You could host it on Shopify. Now, here is one thing right away that I think is quite genius. They have a sell or trade tab. And what you do is, let's say you want to sell them your watch. They actually have a very easy, simple landing page here, which basically just makes you into a lead. So it allows you to basically put in your information and it helps them reach out to you if you have a viable watch that they could sell. And then they probably have some people negotiating down the prices so they can actually make a spread on whatever watch that you're going to sell them. So for example, they have this watch here for $11K. Pretty cool, right? Pretty nice, excellent condition. And they have a 2-year warranty. Not bad. But again, this is just a Shopify store. It's nothing that crazy. Now, they also have insurance, so they can insure your watch. And here's what's crazy, though. This is kind of where things get very, very interesting, because this $2 million store is actually a part of a $100 million a year conglomerate. And this is where things get very interesting. So what this is actually a marketplace owned by a brand called Hodinkee. Now, if you've never heard of Hodinkee, they are a watch blog. So just a straight up blog. And they get 3.5 million monthly visitors. So a ton of search traffic. And they're exclusively about watches. They talk all things watches, stories about watches, new watches that are coming out, stories on old watches, and things of that nature. And what's crazy is that they've begun expanding their ecosystem with all this traffic and community building that they've done. One thing they did is they've built this marketplace, and obviously this one's doing $3 million a month now. Pretty impressive. But then what they're also doing, as I just showed you, is building an insurance company for watches. It's actually so genius. So you can insure your watch through their new insurance company specifically for watches. Now keep in mind, insurance companies are super, super lucrative. And in the past, they were all the rage. I mean, there were so many businesses that came out in the 1900s for insurance. People were insuring their homes. People were insuring their warehouses. I mean, people still do this till this day. Of course, you actually have to get homeowners insurance if you want to own a home. And for example, these people decided to take that model, but apply it to the things that they knew best, which is watches. And I've actually never seen this before. So I found it quite interesting. And as you see, for example, here, let's say you have a Royal Oak like me. I guess I could insure it for $320 a year. That's actually not bad, right? Because who wants to lose a watch of this cost, right? Nobody. And these watches will appreciate in value usually if it's a high in demand watch or like a really nice watch. So it makes sense to insure it, even more so than insuring your car, for example. So I think that's a very, very brilliant business and super simple. Now, I really found fascinating how this is basically an ecosystem brand. And this is stuff that I love because if you're new here, you probably don't know this, but I have an ecosystem myself, right? So I have this YouTube channel. I have my agency called Akemi. We work with 7 and 8 figure Shopify brands, 9-figure brands soon. And we have what's called a research community as well on top of that, or rather under that, where we post a lot of the research that we're learning from working with all these incredible brands. We also have our own portfolio of e-commerce brands that we're building. So we have a pretty incredible ecosystem that is self-serving. And it really does remind me of what these guys are doing, except without the physical product component. It's mostly digital, though I would like to make some merch or something in the future. Now, just as a quick side note and plug, a lot of people ask me, Ari, do you mentor people? Do you have courses or anything? No, I don't. I just have the research center that I told you about. It's called Akemi Lab. And yesterday, for example, we did a group call where people asked questions. We had an incredible discussion on building an agency, managing clients, finding clients. And we also mentioned how you can leverage your e-commerce store to build an agency and vice versa. Build an agency and leverage that to build an e-commerce store and what that entails and winning product criteria and a bunch of different things that were super interesting. But that's really only a small part of the community. I'm not going to lie. I think there's just some incredible features that you can get by being a member. So that's definitely something you should consider checking out and utilizing as soon as possible, because Q4, which is the last quarter of the year, is literally, we're in it. So that's probably the best time to be selling things online, because even though it's competitive, people are in a buying frenzy, and that allows you to really build some big momentum for the next year. So keep that in mind. The link is always in the description. What I want to show you lastly here is just some of the brilliant stuff that they're doing on social media, even though it's not that crazy. So they're posting really beautiful pictures. So how they're using their social media, or at least their Instagram, at least their main feed, is almost like a catalog, right? It just represents the brand. So they're posting super clean images of the watches, and that's it. They're not posting not quality images, right? They're not posting low effort content. It's all very, very catered, or curated rather. And as you see, their engagement isn't that crazy. It's pretty good, though, all things considered. E-commerce brands tend to not get the best engagement. But what's really impressive is just how much traffic they're able to drive, mostly organically, right? Through the blog that they're building. And of course, their own blog as well, because let me show you, they actually do have their own blog. And that's kind of interesting. So these people have a dual blog. I actually saw a podcast of the Hodinkee founder, and he's really big in the NFT world. He still is. So it's kind of an interesting thing that he did. He's an NFT guy, yet he's also in this just super traditional market. That's a pretty good way to diversify yourself, if you ask me. So that guy is pretty brilliant. And yeah, this is just a great example for, if you have a passion, pursue it to the highest degree you can and write about it, make videos about it, and you can build an e-commerce business off of that. It's kind of what I was mentioning with the agency as well. You can build an e-commerce business off of your agency using your team and the things you learn, and vice versa. Same thing with a content company, right? You can build things on top of it. And this is what a lot of people are starting to do. A lot of YouTubers are starting to build businesses, e-commerce businesses in particular, off of their audiences, off of their content businesses. And I find it fascinating. I think it's really a cool thing that we're seeing, especially with people like Logan Paul and KSI building Prime, with Mr. Beast building Feastables, with Hodinkee building Crown and Caliber, because again, a content business doesn't have to be an influencer. You can build a theme page on TikTok if you wanted to. This is part of our portfolio of things that we're doing at Akemi. We have some theme pages on TikTok that are driving meaningful traffic to, for example, affiliate offers, but in the future to our blog. Who knows? That's really about it for this video. I really hope that it motivated you. It gave you some ideas. It definitely tickled my brain in more than one way. And again, just join the Akemi Lab. I know I talk about it sometimes, and it's only because I'm really proud of what we built there. The community is incredible. I use the service myself for content, for ideas on the latest trends, which is super helpful. That's one of our product research criteria. If you can capitalize on a trend, your likelihood of success is much higher than otherwise. So, these people are doing it. Watches are a huge trend in the last few years. People have been really getting into watches again, mainly as a status symbol, but also just out of pure love for physical products, which I think we are entering into a bit of a physical product renaissance, even though there's been so much technological advancement happening in the software world. It's almost like a race to zero, whereas physical products are becoming more valuable because of that. So that's just a little bit of rambling there. If you want to hear me ramble, watch some of our podcast interviews and also watch some of my live streams. I want to start live streaming again so I can yap some more with you guys and just talk about some interesting stuff and have some fun. Make it kind of entertaining, hopefully. But yeah, peace.